The dinner table, usually a place of warmth and connection, had shifted into an unexpected battleground one evening when a hurtful remark shattered the calm atmosphere. The family had gathered to share a meal, exchange stories, and enjoy each other's company, a tradition meant to strengthen bonds and create cherished memories. But on this particular night, the familiar comfort was abruptly broken. As plates were passed and casual conversation flowed, the sisters suddenly interjected with a biting comment. "Nobody cares about you." The words came unexpectedly, sharp and cold, cutting through the noise of laughter and chatter like a sudden gust of cold wind. The statement landed like a slap, startling everyone at the table and casting a shadow over the meal. The sisters' tone carried an unmistakable cruelty, as if the comment was designed not only to hurt but to humiliate. It was more than just a passing insult. It was a deliberate, pointed attack aimed directly at the protagonist's sense of belonging and worth. The other family members froze, unsure whether to intervene or let the moment pass, caught between discomfort and the unpredictable dynamics of familial conflict. For the protagonist, the words hit with unexpected force. The dinner, meant to be a time of joy and togetherness, turned into a painful reminder of unresolved tensions and fractured relationships. The starkness of the comment left her momentarily speechless, her heart sinking as the weight of such callousness settled in. It was a public moment of vulnerability that exposed deeper wounds beneath the surface of family interactions. The environment around them shifted. The warmth and camaraderie that had once filled the room were replaced by an electric tension. Eyes darted between family members, some avoiding direct confrontation, others hiding shock, and a few silently pleading for the mood to improve. There was no denying that the sisters' words had altered the evening irrevocably. This moment at the dinner table was more than just a harsh exchange. It was a pivotal catalyst that forced all involved to confront long-simmering emotions and conflicts. It was a reminder that family gatherings, while often joyful, can also expose underlying fractures, words carrying weight far beyond their immediate context. The unanticipated cruelty of the sisters' remark set the stage for what was to come. Not just a reaction, but a defining moment where loyalty, courage, and the bonds of family would be called into the spotlight. It was in this sudden rupture of peace that the story found its emotional core, revealing both the pain of rejection and the potential for unexpected defense and solidarity. That evening, the family gathered around the dinner table expecting a usual night of shared stories and laughter. However, the atmosphere abruptly shifted when the sister, in a startling and hurtful moment, exclaimed to the protagonist, "Nobody cares about you." The unexpected insult hung heavily in the air, silencing the room and casting a dark shadow over what was meant to be a comforting family occasion. The sharpness of the words surprised everyone, especially the protagonist, who was left momentarily stunned and hurt. The sisters' comment was more than just a casual jab. It was a deliberate and poignant attack that struck at the core of the protagonist's feelings of belonging and worth within the family. The others at the table exchanged uneasy glances, caught off guard by the outburst, unsure how to respond to the sudden tension. This cruel remark transformed the dinner from a moment of connection into one fraught with emotional pain and vulnerability. It revealed underlying family tensions that had been simmering beneath the surface, suddenly brought into the open in a way that was impossible to ignore. The protagonist's shock was palpable, and the warmth of the gathering was replaced by a chilling silence. The sisters' words were not just an insult, but a catalyst that exposed fractured relationships and emotional wounds within the family. The tension it created was a reflection of deeper struggles that lay hidden behind smiles and polite conversation. This moment was a turning point, a fracture in the evening that set the stage for confrontation, support, and ultimately, a powerful testament to the bonds of family. In this unexpected and painful moment, the story began to unfold. A story of hurt, courage, and the unexpected ways in which family members stand up for one another even in the face of harsh words. The initial hurt caused by the insult would soon be met with a defining act of love and defense, revealing the strength that lies within family ties and the resilience of those who refuse to be diminished by cruelty. The dinner table, typically a place for family connection and warmth, was pierced by a sudden, unexpected breeze of cruelty one evening. The family had gathered as usual to share a meal and stories. But this night took a sharp turn when the sister, breaking the light conversation, threw a cruel barb. "Nobody cares about you." The words struck like a thunderclap, silencing the room and sending a chill through the atmosphere. The sister's tone was not playful or teasing but cold and intentional, designed to wound deeply and publicly. The statement targeted the protagonist with an unfiltered harshness that stunned everyone present. More than a casual insult, it was a devastating accusation that challenged the protagonist's sense of belonging and worth within the family circle. The protagonist, caught off guard, felt the sting of the comment as if the room had suddenly grown colder. The insult pierced not just the surface but evoked raw feelings of rejection and invisibility, cutting through the evening's conviviality like a knife. Around the table, family members froze, exchanging uneasy looks, uncertain whether to intervene or pretend the moment had not happened. This sharp rupture transformed the dinner from a routine gathering into a charged emotional battleground. The sisters' words laid bare unresolved resentments and fractured relationships long simmering beneath the veneer of family civility. The moment was a painful reminder of the delicate, complex nature of family dynamics, how love and hurt often walk hand in hand. The silence that followed was heavy, each person grappling with their feelings in the wake of the harsh declaration. While the protagonist wrestled with shock and hurt, the family as a whole was faced with the raw exposure of underlying tensions that could no longer be ignored. Thus, what began as an ordinary family dinner became an unforgettable moment of vulnerability that set the stage for a profound shift. The insult, harsh and unexpected, was the spark that ignited a powerful response, one that would reveal the depth of the family's bonds and the unexpected ways love defends even when words wound. This moment marked the beginning of a story not only about pain but also about courage, protection, and the enduring strength of familial love. The moment the sisters' harsh words pierced the dinner's fragile calm, the protagonist felt a wave of shock and disbelief wash over her. The sting of hearing "nobody cares about you" from someone so close was more than just hurtful. It was a painful blow to her sense of belonging and self-worth. The warmth and comfort she had expected from a family gathering evaporated instantly, replaced by a sudden and overwhelming vulnerability. As the words lingered in the air, the protagonist struggled to process the unexpected cruelty. Her mind raced with a mixture of confusion, sadness, and a desperate search for understanding. How could someone she considered family say something so dismissive and cold in front of others? The comment felt not just like a personal attack but a public humiliation, exposing a raw wound that had long been hidden beneath the surface. Around the table, the atmosphere shifted. Family members exchanged uneasy glances, some avoiding eye contact, others visibly uncomfortable. The protagonist's shock reverberated through the room, creating an unspoken tension that weighed heavily on everyone present. Silence fell, thick and heavy as the emotional weight of the moment settled in, and the easy conversation that had filled the evening before was replaced by a palpable, awkward stillness. In the midst of her shock, the protagonist's feelings wavered between hurt and a flicker of disbelief. The depth of the pain was intensified by the unexpectedness and the public nature of the insult, making it difficult to find words to respond or defend herself. The vulnerability of the moment underscored the fragility of familial bonds and the complexity of emotional wounds that are sometimes hidden beneath everyday interactions. Despite the shock, the protagonist's inner resolve quietly began to form. Beneath the initial pain, there was a rising determination, a refusal to be defined or diminished by such harsh words. But in that fragile first moment, overwhelmed by surprise and hurt, she struggled to find her footing amid the emotional chaos sparked by the sisters' cruel mockery. This moment of shock was a critical pivot point in the evening, setting the stage for the powerful response that would soon follow, a response born from love, loyalty, and the unbreakable bonds of family that even harsh words could not sever. It marked the beginning of a profound confrontation with pain, but also the emergence of courage and protection in defense of those we hold dear. The sisters' biting remark at the dinner table caught the protagonist completely off guard. The words "nobody cares about you" rang loudly in the room, leaving her shocked and hurt in the wake of the unexpected cruelty. It wasn't just the harshness of the comment that shocked her, but the setting, a family gathering intended for warmth and connection. The protagonist's initial reaction was a mix of disbelief and vulnerability. Such a direct and heartless dismissal from her sister pierced deeply, shaking her sense of security and belonging. The public nature of the insult only intensified the feeling of humiliation, adding a layer of complexity to the emotional impact. She struggled to process the remark, her mind swirling with questions and a deep ache that was hard to ignore. Around the table, the family sensed the change in mood instantly. Conversations dwindled as the weight of the moment settled. Where there had been laughter and camaraderie, now sat silence and discomfort. The protagonist felt the eyes of others, some sympathetic, some uncertain, as if she were standing alone against the harshness of the words. The shock was compounded by the unexpectedness. The sister's comment revealed hidden tensions and unresolved issues that had been simmering beneath the surface, making the protagonist realize how fragile family harmony could be. Yet, in that moment of hurt, she began to gather the strength that would later inspire a powerful act of defense and unity. This moment of shock set the emotional stage for the story, a moment where pain met resilience, and where familial bonds would be tested but ultimately reaffirmed. The protagonist's stunned silence was the calm before a storm of love and courage that unfolded as the evening progressed. The sister's harsh words left the protagonist stunned and deeply hurt. The blunt declaration that "nobody cares about you," delivered in the intimate setting of a family dinner, was a shock that cut to the core. The comment was not only unexpected but painfully public, intensifying the feeling of vulnerability and rejection. The protagonist's initial response was a wave of disbelief mingled with sorrow. It was difficult to comprehend that a family member, someone expected to offer support and kindness, would voice such a dismissive and hurtful sentiment so openly. The words echoed in her mind, creating a moment of emotional paralysis where the warmth of the evening was replaced by cold isolation. Family members around the table were caught in a mix of surprise and discomfort. The room's energy shifted abruptly, conversations faltered, and eyes flickered nervously. While some offered silent sympathy, others seemed unsure of how to react or whether to intervene, leaving the protagonist to absorb the full weight of the insult alone. In the midst of the shock, the protagonist grappled with feelings of confusion and hurt. The insult revealed underlying family conflicts previously unspoken, exposing emotional wounds that had long been buried beneath polite interactions. Yet, despite the pain, a nascent sense of strength began to emerge, a quiet determination not to be broken by the words. This moment of shock was pivotal, setting the emotional tone for the evening and igniting a sequence of events that would test family loyalty and protection. It was the start of a story that would ultimately highlight both the fragility and resilience of familial bonds in the face of harsh words and difficult truths. The sister's cruel remarks stunned the protagonist into silence. The emotional blow of hearing "nobody cares about you" from a loved one was profound, igniting feelings of rejection and disbelief. The harshness of the public insult threw the dinner into uneasy stillness. The protagonist experienced a whirlwind of emotions: shock, hurt, and helplessness. The unexpected attack challenged her sense of belonging and shattered the illusion of familial warmth for that moment. The silence that followed was charged with the protagonist's struggle to regain composure and find words in the face of such raw pain. Around the table, family members reacted in varied ways. Some looked away uncomfortably, others showed quiet sympathy, while a few remained uncertain how to respond. The discomfort underscored the complexity of family dynamics, where love and conflict often coexist in fragile balance. Despite the initial impact, the protagonist's shock slowly gave way to a quiet resolve. Beneath the hurt, she began to gather strength, a determination that this moment would not define her worth or the evening's outcome. This emotional turning point paved the way for what was to unfold next: a brave and heartfelt defense from her son, a testament to family loyalty and love. This moment of shock captures the vulnerability and pain that harsh words can inflict, but also sets the stage for resilience and the power of standing up for those we cherish. It marks a critical juncture in the story, a painful beginning that leads toward courage, support, and healing. The sister's harsh words stunned the protagonist, hitting her like a sudden, unexpected blow. The phrase, "nobody cares about you," was not just hurtful. It was devastating, echoing loudly in the room and silencing the lively dinner conversation. The depth of the insult, coming from a family member during an intimate gathering, magnified the shock and pain. The protagonist felt an immediate wave of disbelief and sorrow wash over her. The harshness of the comment struck at the core of her sense of belonging and self-worth, shaking the foundation of family unity that she had taken for granted. She was left momentarily speechless, grappling with the sting of public humiliation and the sudden shift from warmth to coldness around the table. Family members sensed the tension instantly. The air grew heavy with discomfort as conversations ceased, and uneasy glances were exchanged. The protagonist's pain was palpable, and though some family members silently offered support with their eyes, others looked away, unsure how to intervene in the charged moment. Despite the shock, a seed of quiet resilience began to grow within her. Beneath the initial hurt was a growing determination not to be defined by this cruel moment. This emotional upheaval was the catalyst for the powerful defense that would soon follow, showcasing the strength and protective spirit within her family. This moment of shock and vulnerability set the emotional tone for the unfolding story, a narrative of pain confronted with courage, and of family bonds tested but ultimately reinforced through acts of love and solidarity. It was the beginning of a journey from hurt to healing, from silence to voice, marked by the surprising and heartfelt intervention of her son. The moment the sister's harsh words settled into the air, a heavy silence enveloped the dinner table. The clatter of forks and murmurs of conversation ceased abruptly, replaced by a tense stillness that pressed down on everyone present. The usual warmth of a family gathering had morphed into an awkward and uncomfortable void. Eyes darted nervously across the table, some fixed firmly on plates as if searching for distraction, others stealing furtive glances at the protagonist, whose shock was palpable. No one quite knew what to say or how to react to the sudden outburst. The sister's comment, laden with cruelty, had pulled aside a veil, revealing the fragile undercurrents of tension lurking beneath the surface of familial bonds. The tension was almost suffocating. Family members wrestled internally between loyalty, discomfort, and self-preservation. Some felt sympathy for the protagonist's apparent hurt but hesitated to intervene, wary of escalating the conflict. Others seemed frozen, caught in the crossfire of unspoken grievances and complicated histories. The collective unease created a chasm at the table, where words once flowed freely now hung heavy and unsaid. The protagonist felt the weight of this silence acutely. Surrounded yet isolated, she was left to navigate the emotional turmoil stirred by the insult. The coldness in the room contrasted sharply with the warmth she had hoped for, amplifying her sense of vulnerability. Yet, within that silence, a quiet strength began to build, a burgeoning resolve that she was not alone, even if the room felt momentarily divided. This pregnant pause was more than just an absence of sound. It was a crucible of emotion and anticipation. Each family member's next move carried significance, whether to diffuse the tension, escalate the discord, or bridge the growing divide. The silence became a charged space ripe for transformation, setting the stage for the response that would follow. The tension highlighted the complexity of family dynamics, where love and conflict coexist in delicate balance, and where a single word can tilt the emotional landscape dramatically. It was in this charged stillness, filled with unspoken feelings and fragile hopes, that the son's courageous stand would emerge, a moment poised to shift the course of the evening and reaffirm the enduring power of familial loyalty and protection. The sister's cruel comment transformed the previously warm and lively dinner atmosphere into one thick with silent tension. The table, once bustling with conversation and laughter, was enveloped by an uneasy hush as family members grappled with the harshness of the moment. The protagonist sat frozen, her emotions swirling beneath a composed exterior. Around her, eyes shifted uncomfortably, some flickering with sympathy, others with uncertainty about how to respond. The sister's words had unsettled everyone, pulling exposed threads of past grievances and deep-seated family dynamics into the open. The silence was laden with unspoken thoughts and suppressed feelings. No one quite knew whether to break the quiet with words of comfort, confrontation, or avoidance. The shared meal was now overshadowed by an invisible wall of discomfort and unpredictability, leaving the emotional space fragile and charged. Each family member wrestled internally with their loyalties and fears, whether to defend, remain neutral, or withdraw. The tension underscored the complex interplay of relationships within the family, revealing how easily old wounds could resurface and disrupt harmony. Amid the silence, the protagonist found herself wrestling with a storm of feelings: hurt, confusion, and an emerging need for support. The tension was not just around her. It was inside her, a crucible testing her resilience. This charged pause set the stage for a powerful response. It was in this silence that her son would rise, offering a clear act of love and courage that pierced the gloom. The tension was the prelude to a defining moment, where family bonds would be tested but ultimately affirmed through courage and protection. The silence and tension that followed the insult illustrate the delicate nature of family dynamics, where moments of conflict can bring both pain and opportunity for deeper connection. It was in this stillness that the evening's true heart would be revealed, the unwavering loyalty that shines brightest in adversity. The sisters' harsh words cast a heavy pall over the dinner table, ushering in an uncomfortable silence that replaced the room's previous warmth and joviality. The family, caught off guard by the sudden cruelty, collectively held their breath, each person grappling with how to respond, or whether to respond at all. The protagonist sat motionless, absorbing the sting of the insult in stunned silence. Around her, the expected noise of clinking cutlery and animated chatter had evaporated, giving way to a tense stillness thick enough to be felt. Family members exchanged uncertain glances, some hesitating to speak for fear of worsening the situation, others visibly wincing at the rawness of the moment. This silence was more than an absence of sound. It was an emotional chasm that echoed with unspoken feelings and past grievances. The dinner table became a stage not for celebration, but for quiet suffering and unvoiced conflict. The unexpected remark had pulled back a curtain on undercurrents of tension that had long simmered beneath the surface. For the protagonist, the silence was suffocating. The sense of isolation grew despite being surrounded by loved ones. Yet, in that heavy stillness, a seed of inner strength began to take root, a resolve quietly forming to not let the moment define or diminish her. The tension-filled silence was a crucial inflection point in the evening, a charged pause pregnant with uncertainty and potential. Each family member's next move carried weight, bearing the possibility to either mend or deepen the emotional divide. This moment captures the complex duality of family dynamics, where love, hurt, loyalty, and conflict intertwine. It set the stage for what was to come, a brave and heartfelt defense by the son that would remind everyone present of the enduring power of family bonds and the courage found in standing up for one another. The sister's cutting remark plunged the dinner into a suffocating silence. The room, once alive with conversation and warmth, held its breath as the weight of her words settled over everyone. The sudden shift left family members grappling with discomfort, uncertainty, and an uneasy awareness of the fragility underlying their interactions. The protagonist, stunned and hurt, remained quiet, processing the emotional impact in solitude amid the watchful eyes of others. The usual rhythm of the meal dissolved as the family navigated the uncomfortable space between acknowledging the insult and maintaining the veneer of harmony. Around the table, glances flickered nervously. Some sought to offer silent support, while others seemed unsure how or whether to intervene. The silence became a powerful, palpable presence, both a shield and chasm, highlighting the unspoken complexities within the family. Within this charged quiet, the protagonist felt both isolated and strangely supported. The tension revealed deep wounds beneath the surface, yet it also underscored the emotional stakes of family connections. This moment of suspended uncertainty was a crucible for empathy, courage, and eventual confrontation. The silence and tension that followed the sisters' mockery created a fragile emotional landscape. It set the stage for the son's brave and protective response, a turning point that would reshape the evening and affirm the enduring bonds of love and loyalty amidst conflict. This scene captures the nuanced reality of family life, how moments of pain coexist with deep affection, and how silence can both wound and pave the way for healing and solidarity. The sister's hurtful comment abruptly stifled the lively dinner conversation, replacing it with an awkward, heavy silence. The warmth of family connection was frozen as the words, "Nobody cares about you," echoed in the room, leaving a void filled with tension and unspoken emotions. The protagonist sat dazed, grappling with the sudden emotional attack. The silence around her was thick with discomfort as family members exchanged uncertain glances, unsure how to respond. Some seemed to empathize silently while others avoided eye contact, unwilling to disturb the delicate balance. The stillness became charged with conflicting feelings: hurt, shame, sympathy, and hesitation. This tense pause exposed the fragile underpinnings of family dynamics, where love and conflict frequently intermingle, and where unspoken scars can surface unexpectedly. Within this silence, the protagonist felt exposed but not alone. The collective tension revealed the unspoken support brewing beneath the surface, foreshadowing the protective defense that was about to emerge. This moment of silence and tension encapsulates the complexity of familial relationships, how a single sharp word can momentarily fracture connection, yet also summon courage and loyalty in response. It was the quiet space where the son's courageous act would take root, transforming pain into protection and reinforcing the power of standing together during difficult times. The sister's merciless remark cast a long shadow over the dinner table, plunging the room into a suffocating silence. The previous buzz of conversation was replaced with an uncomfortable stillness, thick with tension. Eyes darted nervously, and breaths were cautiously held amid the lingering sting of the insult. The protagonist was engulfed in a whirlpool of emotions: hurt, confusion, and isolation, all while surrounded by family members who seemed unsure whether to speak or remain silent. The sister's words had fractured the evening, unveiling raw feelings and unaddressed conflicts that had long been simmering beneath polite appearances. This silence was both a shield and a chasm. It shielded the protagonist from immediate confrontation but also deepened her sense of exclusion. The family collectively faced a moment of reckoning, their unspoken reactions weaving a complex tapestry of loyalty, discomfort, and suppressed affection. The tension hung heavily, filling the room with a sense that the dinner was no longer just a meal, but a crucible for testing bonds and courage. It was within this weighty silence that the son's righteous defense would soon rise, breaking the stillness with a clear voice of loyalty and love. This moment highlights the dual nature of family dynamics, how a single cutting remark can unsettle harmony, yet also prompt acts of protection and unity. The silence was the emotional soil from which courage and connection would blossom, marking a turning point in the story's unfolding drama. The moment the sister's harsh words settled into the air, a heavy silence enveloped the dinner table. The clatter of forks and murmurs of conversation ceased abruptly, replaced by a tense stillness that pressed down on everyone present. The usual warmth of a family gathering had morphed into an awkward and uncomfortable void. Eyes darted nervously across the table, some fixed firmly on plates as if searching for distraction, others stealing furtive glances at the protagonist, whose shock was palpable. No one quite knew what to say or how to react to the sudden outburst. The sister's comment, laden with cruelty, had pulled aside a veil, revealing the fragile undercurrents of tension lurking beneath the surface of familial bonds. The tension was almost suffocating. Family members wrestled internally between loyalty, discomfort, and self-preservation. Some felt sympathy for the protagonist's apparent hurt but hesitated to intervene, wary of escalating the conflict. Others seemed frozen, caught in the crossfire of unspoken grievances and complicated histories. The collective unease created a chasm at the table, where words once flowed freely now hung heavy and unsaid. The protagonist felt the weight of this silence acutely. Surrounded yet isolated, she was left to navigate the emotional turmoil stirred by the insult. The coldness in the room contrasted sharply with the warmth she had hoped for, amplifying her sense of vulnerability. Yet, within that silence, a quiet strength began to build, a burgeoning resolve that she was not alone, even if the room felt momentarily divided. This pregnant pause was more than just an absence of sound. It was a crucible of emotion and anticipation. Each family member's next move carried significance, whether to diffuse the tension, escalate the discord, or bridge the growing divide. The silence became a charged space ripe for transformation, setting the stage for the response that would follow. The tension highlighted the complexity of family dynamics, where love and conflict coexist in delicate balance, and where a single word can tilt the emotional landscape dramatically. It was in this charged stillness, filled with unspoken feelings and fragile hopes, that the son's courageous stand would emerge, a moment poised to shift the course of the evening and reaffirm the enduring power of familial loyalty and protection. Breaking the heavy silence that had fallen over the dinner table, the son rose to his feet with a quiet but unmistakable resolve. His eyes locked onto his aunt, the sister who had just delivered a cruel blow, and his voice, steady and strong, cut through the tension in the room. Without hesitation, he defended his mother, standing as a shield between her and the harsh words that had wounded her so deeply. His simple yet profound declaration was a beacon of loyalty and love amid the tempest of hurt feelings and unsettled emotions. In that moment, the son's defense became a powerful affirmation that no matter the bitterness or discord, family ties and protective instincts run deep. His courage to speak out in front of everyone was not just a reaction. It was a testament to his values and the unbreakable bond he shared with his mother. As he stood, the atmosphere shifted once again. The charged stillness was replaced by a renewed sense of solidarity and the assertion that respect and care are fundamental to family. His protective stance reminded everyone present that words could wound, but love and courage could heal and protect. The son's act of bravery inspired others to reconsider the moment's gravity and their own roles within this family drama. It was a turning point, a clear message that insults could be met not with silence or resignation, but with dignity and the courage to uphold what truly matters. For the protagonist, her son's defense was a balm for the sting of the insult. It was a profound reminder that she was valued and cherished, even when the harshness of others clouded the moment. His stand rekindled her strength, affirming that she was not alone in facing family challenges. This pivotal act of defense would set the tone for the rest of the evening and beyond, illustrating the unyielding protective power of love and the profound impact one voice can have in the face of cruelty. It was a moment where family loyalty outshone hurtful words, and the son's courageous stand became a defining expression of support, courage, and the enduring bonds that hold families together. Breaking the tense silence, the son stood up with quiet determination and firmly defended his mother. His eyes met his aunt's as he spoke with conviction, making it clear that the hurtful words were unacceptable. In that moment, his voice became a powerful shield, a steadfast declaration that his mother was valued and loved despite the cruel comment. The son's courageous defense shocked some family members, while others felt a deep sense of relief. His boldness shifted the atmosphere, replacing tension with a renewed sense of togetherness and respect. By standing up publicly, he modeled the strength and loyalty that underpin family bonds, proving that kindness and protection can counteract negativity. His defense was more than just words. It was an act of love and protection. It reaffirmed the importance of standing up for one another, especially in moments of vulnerability. For the protagonist, his support was a lifeline, restoring her confidence and reminding her that she was not alone. The son's brave intervention became the emotional turning point of the evening. It highlighted the power of loyalty and the significance of speaking out against hurtful behavior within families. His stand inspired a shift from silence and pain toward dialogue and healing. This moment underscored the enduring truth that family is not only about shared history, but about the willingness to protect and uplift each other in times of need. The son's act of defense exemplified love in action, setting a hopeful tone for reconciliation and understanding that would resonate beyond that difficult dinner. Breaking through the tension that hung thick in the air, the son rose with resolve and spoke out in defense of his mother. His voice was calm but firm, directly challenging the sister's cruel remark. With courage far beyond his years, he declared that his mother was cared for, valued, and loved, refusing to let the hurtful words stand unchallenged. His intervention acted as a beacon of protection, signaling to everyone present that such negativity would not be tolerated. The son's words shattered the heavy silence, replacing it with an outpouring of support and renewed attention on the bonds of family. His stance was a vivid reminder that loyalty and love are powerful forces, capable of overcoming bitterness and division. Amid the quiet dignity with which the son stood, the protagonist found a source of immense comfort and strength. His defense validated her worth and reminded her of the deep connections that support her, even when others falter. It was a moment of affirmation that love can rise above cruelty. The son's defense shifted the dynamics of the evening, inspiring others to reflect on the importance of kindness, respect, and standing together. His bravery became a catalyst for deeper conversations about family, forgiveness, and the power of advocacy within close relationships. This defining moment underscored the resilience of familial love and the critical role of allies who speak up when others cannot. The son's act of defense was not just a response to an insult but a testament to the strength and healing power found in standing firmly by those we care about. Breaking the charged silence, the son rose with a determined look and firmly defended his mother, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. He told his aunt that her words were hurtful and incorrect, unequivocally affirming his mother's worth and the love that surrounded her. His brave defense instantly shifted the atmosphere. The heavy tension lifted slightly as family members absorbed the strength and sincerity in his words. The son's courage sent a clear message that disrespect and cruelty would not be tolerated, especially toward those we hold dear. For the protagonist, her son's support was both comforting and empowering. His intervention reminded her that she was not alone and that her family included those who would stand up for her, no matter the circumstance. It rekindled her confidence and softened the sting of the insult. The son's defense also challenged the family to reconsider their dynamics and the impact of their words. It was a pivotal moment that opened the door for more honest and compassionate conversations, paving the way toward healing and understanding. This act of loyalty highlighted the profound power of love to confront negativity and unite family members in defense of each other. The son's stand became a defining episode of the evening, underscoring the truth that courage and care can prevail in even the most difficult moments. Breaking the heavy silence that had fallen over the dinner table, the son rose with quiet determination. His eyes fixed on his aunt, the sister who had just thrown the cruel insult. His voice calm but resolute as he firmly defended his mother. Without hesitation, he declared that his mother was loved and valued, and that the hurtful words spoken were unfair and untrue. His bold stance shattered the tension in the room, replacing the oppressive silence with a renewed sense of family loyalty and protection. The son's act was not just a defense against harsh words but a powerful affirmation of love, reminding everyone present of the strength that exists within family bonds. His courage inspired others to reconsider their own roles in the conflict and reaffirmed the importance of standing up for those we care about. For the protagonist, her son's defense was a deeply moving moment, a balm that soothed the sting of the insult and rekindled her inner strength. It was a clear message that she was not alone, and that love and respect could prevail even in the face of cruelty. This moment became a turning point in the evening, illustrating how loyalty and bravery can transform pain into solidarity. The son's courageous stand not only defended his mother, but also reaffirmed the enduring power of family support in overcoming hardship. #family dynamics revealed. The confrontation following the sister's cruel comment peeled back layers of long-standing tension and complex dynamics within the family. Beneath the surface of everyday interactions lay unresolved conflicts, sibling rivalries, and unspoken resentments that occasionally bubbled up during gatherings. The son's defense of his mother exposed these deep undercurrents, forcing family members to confront the emotional history that had led to such sharp divisions. His courageous act highlighted not only the fractures but also the potential for healing, showing how even difficult moments can surface truths necessary for growth. #the sister's response. Faced with her nephew's bold defense, the sister's reaction was a mix of defensiveness and surprise. Her initial harshness gave way to a realization that her words had consequences beyond momentary release. Whether she responded with stubbornness, denial, or a grudging acknowledgement, this interaction shifted the emotional landscape of the dinner. The sisters' response either escalated tensions or opened a window for dialogue and reconciliation, influencing the possibility of repairing damaged relationships. This moment revealed the complexity of human emotions, how hurt, pride, and the need for connection can conflict and coexist. The protagonist's reflection. In the quiet moments after the confrontation, the protagonist reflected deeply on the evening's events and her relationship with her sister. The insult and the son's defense stirred a tumult of emotions: pain, gratitude, sadness, and hope. She pondered the patterns of conflict that had shaped her family history, recognizing both the wounds and the strength within these ties. The son's support became a source of profound comfort and empowerment, reminding her of the bonds that endure even amidst pain. Her reflection marked a pivotal step toward understanding, acceptance, and the possibility of forgiveness and renewed connection. The son's role and growth. The son's intervention was a defining moment in his own personal growth and maturity. Standing up for his mother required bravery and a clear sense of right and wrong, traits that reflected his developing values and moral compass. His willingness to confront family conflict and protect a loved one demonstrated emotional intelligence and strength beyond his years. This act of loyalty did more than defend. It shaped his character and set a foundation for how he would navigate future challenges. The event became a milestone in his journey toward adulthood, embodying the power of courage, compassion, and standing firm in the face of adversity. The aftermath of the dinner confrontation marked a turning point for the family, but whether it led to healing or further conflict depended on the willingness of each member to engage with vulnerability and empathy. The son's courageous defense had disrupted the pattern of silence and resentment, forcing everyone to reckon with the emotional wounds that lay beneath the surface. This moment opened the door for honest conversations that had long been avoided, presenting a chance to bridge divides and rebuild trust. For some family members, the evening's events sparked reflection and a desire to amend fractured relationships. The sisters' harsh words and subsequent responses illuminated the pain and misunderstandings at the heart of their interactions. When followed by genuine apologies or acknowledgments, these moments became seeds of reconciliation, encouraging openness, forgiveness, and renewed commitment to family unity. However, not all responded with readiness to heal. In families where wounds are deep and defenses high, such confrontations can also entrench divisions. The tension heightened by the insult and the son's stand could escalate into ongoing disputes or entrenched silence, leaving emotional scars unhealed. Without deliberate effort to communicate and forgive, the damage risked compounding, affecting future gatherings and relationships. Ultimately, the dinner was a crucible for transformation. It held the potential to either deepen wounds or catalyze growth, depending on the choices the family made in its wake. The son's defense symbolized hope, a tangible reminder of love's power to protect and unite. Whether that hope blossomed into healing or was swallowed by lingering conflict rested on the family's courage to confront pain and embrace each other's imperfections. This moment underscored the fragile but resilient nature of family. Conflict and hurt may be inevitable, but they do not have to be final. With empathy, patience, and willingness to listen, families can navigate even the hardest moments, turning pain into opportunity for deeper connection and lasting peace. The dinner's legacy would be shaped by this crucial decision, to heal together or remain divided, highlighting the enduring challenge and profound reward of family life. The painful and emotional dinner episode became a profound lesson on the complexities of family relationships and the vital importance of support during difficult times. It illustrated that families are not just about shared history or genetic ties, but about the choices made to stand by each other, especially when circumstances are challenging or feelings are raw. One key takeaway was the power of speaking up and defending loved ones. The son's courageous act of standing for his mother showed that loyalty and protection are fundamental components of family support. His intervention underscored that silence in the face of cruelty can leave wounds unhealed, while brave voices can foster healing, dignity, and mutual respect. The story also highlighted that conflict is an inevitable part of close relationships, but it does not have to be destructive. Instead, it can provide an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding when met with empathy and openness. Addressing painful moments honestly allows family members to confront underlying issues and begin the process of reconciliation. Moreover, the experience revealed the significance of emotional courage, not just for those who face hurtful words, but also for those who respond with love and support. Family members, especially children, learn vital lessons about standing up for what is right, protecting one another, and cultivating compassion that lasts a lifetime. Above all, this story emphasizes that families are built not just on moments of joy, but on the resilience to face hardship together. It is a reminder that unconditional love and support provide a foundation strong enough to weather storms. Even when words wound, courage and care ultimately bind hearts closer. In the end, this moment became a powerful affirmation that family is a source of strength, healing, and belonging. It called attention to the enduring truth that while families may face conflict and pain, the choice to support, defend, and uplift one another transforms challenge into opportunity, deepening connections and fostering a love that endures beyond words and circumstances.